Hey there, this is Deb from debsdigitaltips.com, and sorry for the mess behind me. I spend more time looking in this direction than I spend looking in the other direction, so I'm going to share my screen so you don't have to look at that. So let's go ahead and show this. Okay. So I just have 5 of my first spotted really fun things that are upgrades in the Artisan 5 upgrade. These things are just little tweaks to things that were already available in Artisan 4 and Storybook Creator, but these are just things that are making the whole process a little bit faster and easier, which I love because anything that makes it better is going to help me do more. So the first thing that I like, as you know, if you go up to the View tab, you can go to spreads. I always like to do this in a 2-page spread. And then before, when you clicked on this, you would see either an option for flat, lay flat pages or standard pages, because it assumed you were making a bound book through Panstoria. And now you can do 2 bound pages, which is still what I'm going to do. So it's still got it in book format where they're connected here. But I could also look at 2 separate trimmed pages and have them separated. Like if I was going to save them all for uploading to a different system, or you can actually have them as just separate pages altogether. I haven't totally determined what the difference is between those two, but I will find that out for you. So anyway, I'm going to go back to my 2 bound pages here. And the cool thing about their 2-page spread now is that you don't have to do the save each time you try and go from one to the other. So let's say I'm working over here, and I apologize for these ugly fonts. I just had to reset Windows 10 the other day, and it wiped out all of my installed fonts. So I need to go back and reinstall some fonts. But let's say I'm working over here and now I want to do something over here. I can go ahead and just click on it and add the content I want to add. So let's see. Let's say I wanted to add this flower here, and then let's say I want over here to add these pink rose petals. Definitely not going to go with either of these pages, but you can just see I didn't have to pause and save. I didn't have any box come up and say, do you want to save this page before you move on? I can go ahead and just toggle back and forth between the 2 pages. I do have to actually select the page first, because like if I try and drop something here right now, it still thinks I'm working in this page, so it's actually added to the page that's selected, not to the other one. So you do have to select it, but you don't have to save until you move out of these pages, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those. So I don't want to leave them there. That was my first thing. The second thing that is way cool is that now, let's say I want to see what's on my son's shirt here. In the past, I would have had to come down here to the little zoom ball, I'm going to call it, and drag it across and kind of move in, and then move my sliders on the side here to find out what's there. Oh, he's got quite a look on his face, doesn't he? But if I go back to this little all 4 arrows here, it'll zoom me back out. Now in Artisan 5, I can actually just select that picture and zoom in by rolling the rolling scroll ball on my mouse, and it'll let me zoom in or out without having to go through all that trouble, which is awesome. And I can still go back and put everything back in order. So my third favorite thing, this is really cool. Let's say I want to line this up. Let's move this here, just for the sake of doing this. So let's say I want to move this over here. See how I've got these green lines popping up? It's kind of trying to auto align things for me so that things aren't out of whack, and it just helps me kind of see. I just made a box that's totally in line with this line and with this line and with this line, so that everything is all nicely lined up. And now I could go like this and bring this over here and do the same thing. I'm not sure I want to, but we'll leave it that way for now. So that was my third cool thing. The fourth cool thing is completely leaving my mind at the moment, but that's why I have my most fun thing for last here. I have always loved the calendar feature that they've got for Artisan or Storybook Creator, whichever you want to talk about, and they've given us different calendar templates in the past, but you never have to use that if you don't want to. If you want to make your own calendar, you've always had the option in these last couple of versions to insert a calendar frame yourself. And you can see I've got all of my options for that calendar over here on the side. But since I'm using, this is actually an example with a purpose. This is part of my family calendar for this year, and the problem with it is that I used a template from 2013 when I made it, and I thought I had gone through and tweaked all of my calendars so that they said 2015, but I actually missed a few months. And September was one of them. So if I right click on this calendar here, I'll show you. I'll go to format, and over here on this side you'll see it's set up for September 2013. And in the past at Artisan 4, I would have had to open that up and then toggle a little arrow button to scroll through 24 times to get to September 2015. But the cool thing is now here I can actually just go with this drop down and say I want it to be September 2015. And now it suddenly rearranged all of my dates to the right dates so that, yes, September did end on the 30th and started on the 1st. So it did wipe out all of the pictures that I had filled into those dates because obviously they were on the wrong date. So I would have to go back in and put those back in. But that was so super easy. And I can go ahead and change everything else about that calendar from here too. This has always been one of my favorite features, so I apologize if you've seen me talk about this before, but this is one of those things that I just think is the neatest thing since sliced bread. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and save that anyway. And you know, if I could remember the last thing that I was going to share with you on this other page, maybe I already went through it and I forgot it, but that is what I had to share today. I know there's going to be more stuff, so I'm going to try and make more of these little videos, and I hope you have an awesome day and have fun playing with Artisan.